Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not a subscriber, you can say hi or hey or hello and use other people's emotes, or you could continue to just be a lurker and hang out. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here as always, my friend. We're here in the Bear Cave hanging out. If all goes well, nothing will look weird. Everything will look good. Like, everything's going to run good, sound good. Sound is probably the thing I can't duplicate the easiest because I have to kind of go by vibe. Lord Crashton's here. Hello, Lord Crashton. But I imported my profile, so I got my settings involved in here. But what I didn't have Aristophan's here. Hey, Aristophan, and Ghostfowl's here. What a great crew already. My scenes didn't get saved. My profile did, but my individual scenes didn't, and so I had to rebuild everything from scratch. So I had a fun process here because I have the 3 monitors set up and one above me. So the third monitor wasn't plugged into my new PC. The third monitor was plugged into my old PC, and I had my OBS open on that. And then I had my OBS open on the new computer. And then I was just like copying and pasting through a Google Doc that was open on both computers, like the browser code that I need for Elements so I can have overlay stuff. So if you subscribe or resub or do bits and coins or follow, it should pop up. Again, should. Or gift a sub or anything like that. Because we are currently we're at 45 out of 50. Somebody just subbed that. Maybe they chose not to do their notification, or it'll come in at some point. But apparently, we're at 45 subs, so I'm going to fix that right now. Gotta change that. We're at 45 out of 50 subscribers, which is rad. Thank you to whoever subscribed. So that way, I think I did everything right. Now, there's some stuff I haven't done yet. I had some scenes that I didn't build because it didn't matter. But I do have sound effects and such ready to go. I do have this. So we still have a toilet flush. I can still flush a toilet sound effect wise. Yeah, so that's still there. The important things are still there. And I figured out most of what I need to do. I have most of the stuff I need on this computer. Okay, so Lord Crashington just wanted to redeem some ska. Thank you very much for using your channel points for the ska. So I will hit that. Thank you very much for that. Here we go. The fade out is a little long, I just realized, so I'm going to adjust that fade out. But it's working. Thank you for using your channel points to redeem some ska. Ska for the new PC, indeed. That carried over. I had to rebuild my Stream Deck stuff from scratch, too. That wasn't fun. But I did rebuild that. I rebuilt everything that I needed. I still have a few things to download. Actually, I did download PowerPoint because I still have that for stuff. I don't use Google Slides for things. I use PowerPoint still. I still have it. Somebody else pays for it, so a monthly license, so I still use that. But yeah, I got to download a few things. I played one game of Hearthstone on this new computer. It was fast as hell, and that was awesome. It was rad how fast it was. I complained about the RGB bullshit. You go see photos on my stream or my Twitter feed if you want to see me complain. And I should have said, "Hey, I don't have time to handle this, but I will in the future." Instead of just being like, "I don't know how to turn this off," because by saying I don't know something, I invited well-meaning people who follow me, wanting to help me, asking for the brand of the motherboard, or what RGB controller might be in there, giving me suggestions of where I can find the RGB controller, and various other things that I know about, but that wasn't a priority. The priority was getting the computer running, and then later I will go in there. Right now, my exhaust fan did Hearthstone actually run better on it? So Lashbrook, So actually, legitimately, we'll get into model kit building. We're working on the Helios. So let me retweet a tweet and then I'll reply to that question and talk about that. Just want to get that out there. Very fun. Okay, so we did that. Can it run Crisis? I mean, I assume it can. Also, I don't know. But yes, hey, does it run Crisis? Yeah, we did it. I think my marker text is too big, but other than that, this is good. Hey, here was a fun thing before I start talking about Hearthstone and if it ran well. Here's a fun thing that happened. The Logitech software that I installed for my webcams, I installed that before I installed OBS, and it fucked everything up. So I had to uninstall that and then reinstall my webcams in OBS. So I have to fix a bunch of things every time I load. So I have a new version of a different version of Logitech software. The gaming one, not the webcam one. Apparently the gaming one is the one I used to have on my old computer. And if I get that, then I won't run into the problem that I ran into here, which is very fun and not bullshit or annoying. But basically what was happening was I couldn't turn off autofocus. It was off, but it was still running. It was not communicating in OBS that it was off, that I had set it to off. So what ended up happening was it would just always autofocus. Does it run do? Yeah. Oh yeah, it would run smooth. Also, hi, John. Lashbrook, Hearthstone. So here's the thing. I don't think it ran Hearthstone better. It loaded Hearthstone better because on my old computer, Hearthstone would hitch right before it would like show me the quest of the day, or if I had any quests to complete. When I loaded it, it would hitch more times than it wouldn't, and it would be a not smooth load of the game. So actually, that is way better than my previous play. And now I'm running it on high settings instead of medium settings, which also doesn't mean anything, and it's fine. It doesn't matter. Everything's cool. I have not downloaded a bunch of other things games-wise. I got to put Door from Antique on this. I got to put Power Wash Simulator on this. I got to put Fallout 4 and then get Vortex, the Nexus mod manager on here, and then try to rebuild all of my mods for that I want to use. I'm probably going to do fresh data on that, rebuild all my mods, my many mods, and get that up and running. I think that's tomorrow probably. From Twitter, it looks like you're RGB gamer now. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that, John. Yeah. So here's what I did figure out. I turned off RGB on my cooler fan. That I could turn off. But I still have one exhaust fan and 3 intake fans that are all RGB. And those I have not been able to turn off their color. Now, is there a controller inside of it that is not hooked up to software? Probably. Can I get in there and take care of that? Yes. Death Star didn't have RGB on exhaust port and still got targeted. Indeed. So really what I'm looking at is that was not a priority, right? Getting my software loaded, getting this. Should I have waited till tomorrow to really mess around with this computer? Should I have streamed to my previous? I mean, yeah. Was I gonna do that? Fuck no. I got a new computer. I spent a lot of fucking money on this computer, and I'm gonna stream with it. I'm gonna use 1.9% CPU percentage right now to stream 2 HD webcam signals out at 30 frames per second. And around 3,300 kilobytes per second. That sounds rad. Did it arrive earlier in the day at least, or did it come at the end of the evening? So luckily, John, it came around 3 o'clock. So it came at a reasonable time, which I was very happy to see, because it was like by 7 p.m., but it had gotten on a truck. The truck had left at like 20 to 10. So I was like, well, maybe I'll get it at a reasonable time. And I did get it at a little after 3, which is awesome. So I did have enough time to do most of the things I need to do for this. I still have to put a couple things on here. Like I said, I got to put the Epic launcher on there. I got to put in some games. I want to find a version of Windows Movie Maker to put on here. I might have to plug in my old computer again and grab it off there. Because while I do know how to use other software to do quick video edits, most of the video editing I do is just chopping off the ends of things. It's nothing that complicated. So Movie Maker is like such a small program, but you can't, it doesn't like, it's not easy to get anymore. It exists and you can just get it. But most of the versions you're going to find online quickly are going to be bullshit. Yes, Movie Maker doesn't exist anymore officially, but I have it on my old computer. Also, I did not upgrade to Windows 11, even though I have a free upgrade to Windows 11, but I did not upgrade it because I want this computer to work, and then I'll upgrade to Windows 11 when I have basically I'm going to upgrade to Windows 11 on a Monday night, when I have when I don't have a stream again until Wednesday, and I have time to learn how to use it. It didn't make sense to upgrade to Windows 11 today while I still don't know all the odds and ends of this particular computer. So I am going to just, not now. Limit the amount of bull you need to debug at once. Exactly, John. I already knew I had my hands filled with like I said, probably not a great idea to upgrade to Windows 11 while you're just setting it up. Yeah, Lord Crashington, it did not feel like a smart move, so I did not do it. But I can later. And it'll be, again, without a problem. We'll put that over there. No, I was I have to get all this set up. I have to be ready to stream. I have to learn the ins and outs of this. I have to remember my passwords to things that I don't have easily accessible, and get things loaded and ready to go. There were just things I had to do. And I got them done. I did get them done, so I am happy with that. But it was a thing where I was I'm not gonna worry about stuff like that. Yeah, because I still had a lot that I had to get done for tonight, and I also I wasn't working on anything in particular, but I did have I have a project that's due on Saturday, and so I did want to get some of it done today. But I'm able to do that just through the web, and that's fine. But yeah, I guess still got to figure out some settings on a few things. I did open up the new computer to put in a big hard drive, HDD hard drive, from my previous computer, which that's so much easier than putting a bunch of stuff on a USB drive to copy over from one computer to the other. It's just put everything on that one hard drive and take out that hard drive and put it in the new one. Now, is it great to have a computer from 2 computers ago, or a hard drive from 2 computers ago in this new computer? It's not the best, but it's fine. So that was really nice and easy. All of the source files for OBS and stuff here or there. Did it have some nice bay access? Yes. So it was it's got one of those shrouds over the what do you call it? Because it's got the glass display, so it's got a shroud over the power supply, and also the shroud covers any hard drives that go in there. Because the main SSD is an M whatever, so it's not in the bay. So I've got a bay for different sized things and SATA ports for that, so I can plug those in. And it's got room for several things. So yeah, it was screw this in, slide that in there. It's going to be really easy to take that in and out if necessary and put other hard drives in there if I want to. My old case has a PSU shroud, also covers the SSD mount spot. So yeah, so it's got a shroud, and that's nice. Again, I got to get in there and figure out the RGB, but that wasn't a priority for today. I just put it in a direction I don't want. Here's the thing about my new computer that I don't love. If there's something about my new computer I don't love, it is my old motherboard had an abundance of USB. And this one does have USB, but it doesn't have as many USB. So the back has 2 USB 2.1s and 3 USB two USB 3.0s and one USB 3.1. That's on the back, and the front has like the top, which is the front, I guess you could say, has what do you call it? Oh, it has a two USB 2.0 ones and one USB 3.1. Time to get a high-speed hub. Yeah, I gotta get myself a hub because, and you're like, well, Pat, how much USB do you have? Oh, I fucking have a lot of USB. 2.1, the USB 2 on the back can easily be for keyboard and mouse, right? Keyboard and mouse don't need anything in particular. I'm going to put those there. That's fine. That's no trouble. That there's no sweat there. I have 8 right now. Yeah. So then I also have the USB for this microphone, the two USB for my webcams, the USB for my Stream Deck. That's all my USBs. So right now I have I have the Steam Deck and one webcam go in the front because I like to keep them. I like to keep my two webcams on a different. Maybe I'm just being paranoid about that, but I do think it is a good idea to have my webcams like, I don't know what you call it, like a different bus. Like that's probably the wrong term, but like not having them plugged in next to each other, I think is a good call. So I have those separated. And then, yeah, so I have like one in the back for like a controller. I could also put it in the front, but I'm probably going to have to get like a good high powered USB hub. Like my laptop, when I would plug in 2 webcams on my laptop, I would always do them on other sides, and kind of give them their space and not put them in a hub or anything. So I don't know. I'm playing around with everything right now, trying to figure it out, trying to get the best settings for everything. The thing that's been fun is, I knew I was getting a 2060, but I didn't know exactly which 2060 I was getting, which is fine. It's totally okay that I didn't know that. So I didn't know what the outputs were going to be. I did know that I could, with this computer, do 3 monitors, which I am doing right now. But I didn't know the setup. My previous, my 970 is, I was doing 2 DVI and 1 HDMI. And I have a long HDMI cable for the upper webcam. So it's totally cool to do that there. Is this the right way? Yeah, the right way. Or for the upper monitor, I should say, not webcam. I was talking about webcams, and I'm talking about monitors. This one, I didn't know what it was going to be. And some photos I saw of some people who had this pre-built, their 2060 was ended up being different than my 2060. So I thought I needed 2 display and 1 HDMI. Turns out this computer has, this graphics card has 1 DVI, 2 display and 1 HDMI. So right now, my monitors are, the main monitor goes DVI in, another monitor goes display to DVI adapter to a DVI cable, and the third one is my long HDMI cable. So I have 1 of each, which is not great, but it does tell me which monitor is which and where they're plugged in. So that's kind of good. And then I can just swap HDMI cables with another one. So that's working out okay. Right now, everything seems to be running fine. No complaints, no problems. Things look good. Updates were fast. It didn't need to be updated too much for Windows 10, which is nice. Because sometimes that can be a real fucking pain in the ass when it just needs so many updates. All right, I gotta be careful with these because we did break a piece of this on the shoulder here, which you can't see, which is great. But yeah, let's see other things about this lovely new computer. RAM's running at 3,000, which I read some places that it might not, that I might have to adjust it. I don't have to adjust that, which is great. It's a little louder than my previous computer because I had a Be Quiet case, and this is not a Be Quiet case. This is a I forget the name of this case. It's a deep cool, but it's got way more fans than my previous computer, so it is not quieter, which is fine. Um, but yeah, I have to get used to the sound of all of these fans kicking on. Also, because it does have ventilation on the top, which my previous case did not have, but I don't have any fans there. So it does have room, and the case, looking in it, if I wanted to take out the RGB fan cooler, the CPU cooler, I could take that out, and I could replace it with a liquid cooling, something like that, and do like an all-in-one and get a radiator and more fans. And I could put the radiator in the front with the fans I already got there, or I could get new fans and have 3 fans in the front, 1 fan in the exhaust at the back, and then I guess 3 fans going exhaust up and really go for it. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't see that being something. Oh, of course, also the CPU cooler is an intake as well. But yeah, I don't see myself doing that. I mean, if this thing starts really getting hot and really freaking the fuck out, then I'll investigate. But right now, I think it's going to be okay. Right now, I'm like, all right, this'll be fine. Okay, so where do these blue go? Or not blue. This is green. Why did I say blue? Okay, so this goes low. It goes there. Got it. And then the other piece is going to lock it in. Okay, you can see that kind of difference. You can use the Stream Deck to keep track of PC temps and such. Yes, Lord Crashing It. I could do that. I do have the Stream Deck Mini, so I am a little bit limited in, but I can do different I can have like when OBS is open, a profile, and then a profile for when it's not, and do stuff like that. Right now, I just keep the Stream Deck as 5 things that I use all the time, and then a button to go to my sound effects. But yes, I could, if I wanted to, use that to kind of keep track of things. Right now, things are going good. Like I said, I got to turn that RGB shit off, and I'll figure that out how to do that, but that's not a priority. Everything seems to be good. I'm excited to stream some Power Wash Simulator once the next update comes in, because that is probably the game that is was most taxing to my previous setup. When we were like streaming and I was playing it, I was having actually some of my local encoding was bad for my local recording for that. So I'm excited to test that out and see how that feels, especially with 3 monitors. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, to wrap up, and we'll talk more, I'm sure. Things are fucking good, and I'm very happy with it. With all of this nonsense, yeah, is good. And now I have a big box that I can then put this in when I need to ship it out eventually, because I will at some point have to send this somewhere. And then in like a week, I will send my relative who is inheriting my previous computer will come and get that. But I want to have some time to really make sure that I've gotten everything off of it and wiped it and done a fresh install and, prettied it up a little bit for her. But it is nice that right now I just have it under my desk here, and I have an HDMI cable up that I can just swap in. And I have the keyboard and mouse that came with it. The mouse is actually pretty good. The keyboard is like trying to be a cool mechanical keyboard with like RGB bullshit in it, and it can like go in and do like integrate with everything. And I was like, fuck no, I don't want this. Like, my keyboard isn't great, but that keyboard is worse and also loud as hell. And I was like, nope, no, thank you, not doing it. But it's nice to have another mouse and keyboard that I just hooked up to my old PC, so that way I didn't have to swap around while I was trying to put stuff on here. I do have a backup mouse, and I will keep that as a backup mouse and as a backup keyboard in case this keyboard goes. But this keyboard was like $10, so I don't care if it goes, honestly. other stuff I want to chat with y'all about tonight. Hey, let's get it, because I want to get into this. I want to talk about Kickstarter, because I want to give an update, because previously we have talked about Kickstarter and their move to the blockchain. That not that they were getting into NFTs, but they were getting into the blockchain technology and eventually plan to move Kickstarter.com to the blockchain and fully integrate with the blockchain. And that was going to be how, if you wanted to like either run a Kickstarter or support people's Kickstarters, you were inherently supporting blockchain technology, and how that sucked. And then people were like, well, fuck off. And other people were like, I can't say fuck off because this is where the audience is, but this sucks, and I'm going to be loud about how much this sucks. So they haven't backed down. They're still doing it. But they did not apologize. And they did make a statement that is supposed to seem like they're listening. They put out a bullshit statement, and I want to talk about it because it's bullshit and great. So I'm going to talk about it and make fun of it. And we'll have hopefully an okay time while I do it. So they put out a statement. Here is bullet point 1. I will read bullet point 1 verbatim, and then I'll chat about it. We will not move Kickstarter.com onto the new protocol unless it has been tested. So you read that, you start reading that, you're like, hey, at this time, we don't have any plans to do it right now, or hey, we're going to take a step back and look at this and reevaluate. No, it's, hey, I know what you guys are worried about. You're worried that we're going to go and move it onto and it won't be like good, and it won't be like ready to go. It won't be tested. Who was asking for that? First of all, no one assumed you wouldn't test it before you were going to move there. That's not what people worried about. That's not what people are mad about. It's the very idea that you're doing it that people were like, this sucks. We will establish an advisory council made up of a diverse range of Kickstarter users and participants to inform our next steps. So they mention this, and they say, like, hey, if you want to join this, you can. And they mention a little bit more about how these people are going to help shape what comes from it, and these are people who are excited about the future of Kickstarter. It doesn't say these are people who have told us this is bullshit, and we're not going to have an advisory committee about whether or not we're going to move to the blockchain, but how we're going to do it. We're committed in our PCB charter to limiting our environmental impact, and will hold the new protocol to the same standard. So, again, not explaining the $1 million question, how the fuck are you going to do it? How are you going to reduce the environmental impact of the blockchain? Even non-Ethereum blockchain. How are you going to do it? And they say, we know offsetting isn't enough. But they don't say what it's going to be. They just say we're going to do it, which everybody fucking says, but nobody backs it up with anything because there is no way to do it. And it's just a thing you say. You just say, oh yeah, we're definitely going to do that. Don't worry about it. It'll be cool. All right, we're moving on to the right arm. We did shoulders. Now it's arm time. We need C1. Not C, C1. Because this is a kit that's mashing two kits together. So we got a C and a C1. Let's see. No one else has been able to do it. But I guess Kickstarter. But basically, they were just like, it wasn't a mea culpa. It wasn't we're pausing. It was, hey, we know the most important, like literally they said, the most important thing is that we hear from you, which is not true. That is not the most important thing. That's the bare minimum thing. But basically they're like, oh, please don't leave. Please don't go to other crowdfunding. Please stop saying mean things about us, but also we're doing this. Hey, welcome, Afro. So, I'm still supporting people who have launched Kickstarters in the meantime because some of these people did not have a choice. They were already in the process of doing it. They had already worked hard on getting this done and could not stop what they were doing, stop the process just because of this nonsense decision made by Kickstarter. But once they do move Kickstarter to the blockchain, I'm definitely done being on there. Yes, don't criticize us because we won't listen anyway. Yeah, Lord Crash is like, we're listening to you. But definitely not the part where you say, hey, don't do this. We're definitely doing it. Yeah, it was a fun statement to read because it is just like, oh, this is not like out of touch. This is like, no, we're doing it because we're a publicly traded company and we have to do something because we've lost market share, because it was inevitable that we would lose market share, because also crowdfunding is down all over the place, but we have to keep making money and spending money because we have investors. So we can't not do this. We have to instead fuck around and fuck up. That's all we can do is fuck around and fuck up. We got to try to fail upwards because we can't keep failing coasting. Except the healthcare demo. Yes. No. Charity fundraising still going strong. But year to year, the growth isn't there, right? When you look at Kickstarters, now this is from a few years ago, and the source of this information is somebody who they fired for trying to lead the efforts for unionization. So fun, but their big money is technology and tabletop. I was really thinking of backing that Mina the Hollower cast, but I really don't know now. Yeah, I mean, that one's interesting because that one's just like, hey, we know that this is like a way to build an instant community, and it's a way for us to get funding from other avenues, because unfortunately that is part of it. But they're at least like telling you that. The tabletop was really interesting because that's the big one. Now, of course, also, not too long ago, the now former head of outreach for tabletop did his own Kickstarter, which featured a bunch of people, like a wide variety of people, but he didn't tell them that one of the people involved was someone that had not just allegations, credible allegations of harassment and assault against him. And so then a bunch of people were like, we're not doing this. And he should have fucking known better and didn't. And then also was like, tried to like talk his way out of like being like, hey, I'm not paying attention to things like this. It was like, just like a lot of like real dumb bullshit. And then eventually he left his job. Kickstarter. Which is fun. So they took a big hit on there. So here's the thing about Kickstarter. The big successes are big successes, right? Video games used to be, if you got a cool idea, you'll get a bunch of money. That hasn't been the case for years. Because the bubble burst. Because some games didn't come out. And games by credible, interesting people didn't come out. So that went away. And then instead it was, okay, this is a risk. This is a big risk. I'm going to support people that I think are cool doing cool things. That kind of ended for tabletop. For video games. That's still there for tabletop stuff, board games and such. And the biggest money that is given to people that by strangers who don't know them, that just think it's a cool idea, the thing that everyone wants, which is this is a cool idea, I'm backing a cool idea kind of a thing. That's D&D modules. All you need is some interesting art and a good concept. And people are like, very few categories on Kickstarter get like people just searching the category for something new and backing it sight unseen. But the cost of entry into that is low enough that people often are like, hey, that's a cool idea. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's like a cyberpunky thing, but it takes this kind of thing and you're playing on that. Yeah, all right. I like your art. Sure, here's some money. Make that thing happen. I don't know you. Great. I'll never actually play this, but it seems cool, so I want to support you. And then on a much smaller scale with Kickstarter, dance. The dance category gets a lot of people who have money that want to support dance because nobody fucking supports small dance projects. So that anymore. So that is very small. The overhead is very, like actually high for dance. But there are very few projects, and the same people are funding a lot of dance projects. Those were the things we saw, and then everything else is who you know. Now there are exceptions to this. There are big concept things like in comedy and performance that can do it. Kurt Braunohler raised a ton of money to get certain phrases skywritten because that sounds fun, and you see that and you hear that and you go, yeah, all right, I'll back that. That's a nonsense thing that sounds cool. You don't know Kurt. You don't know what Kurt's doing, but you'll do that. But web series don't get money on Kickstarter. Web series get money on Indiegogo because you are helping your friend or family member make their dream come true. You're not helping a stranger with their fun, quirky web series they want to do. You have to know that person to do it because you basically are just like, I don't care about this, but I like you, so here you go. And even then, it's very difficult. This is the thing that I always like to say is, the ladies of Broad City, Alana and Abby, had a web series that they did out of pocket for no money for many years. They tried to do an Indiegogo, they tried to do a Kickstarter to raise funds to do their finale. They were just like, here's the product. You can watch all of these times. All these things that came out. You can see what we did. You can see all the other episodes. And then we're looking for money to do our last episode and do it big. We have an idea. We want to go big with it. Kickstarter failed. They didn't raise enough money. Indiegogo, they went and did that. They didn't get nearly enough money that they needed to do the vision they wanted. Then they sold that show and did Broad City as a TV show eventually. It took a very long time. They had an FXX pilot that went nowhere. FX/FX, and then eventually got the Comedy Central show. But that just goes to show you, like, they were known in the New York community. They weren't known forever, everywhere, but they were known in New York, and people were just like, yeah, I don't really feel like you need to spend a lot of money to do a big what? In the same way that people were like, yeah, okay, you want to make a movie? That's cool, I guess. Why don't you just, like, max out your credit cards? Like, people are just like, But if you're like, hey, I want to do something, this is legally distinct, not Batman, but I have an idea for a, using D&D 5th edition module, but it's pretty much the Bat family. It's not Batman, but it's basically Batman, and people will be like, here you go, yeah, give me that PDF. This sounds rad as fuck. Yes. I checked, and the only game I backed at Kickstarter was Amplitude. There you go, Lashbrook. Okay, I have backed a bunch of random shit. Some of the things I backed will never come out. Butt sniffing pugs is never going to come out. They give updates every year or so. They had a lot of shit go on with them, and I respect it and understand it. But they're never going to make that game. And that, Zoe's never going to make that FMV game. I get it. Hey, Harold, welcome. I understand it. Like, those things are never coming out. That's okay. Some things I backed came out. I remember backing Barkley Shut Up and Gaiden 2. Jam Gaiden 2. There you go. Yeah. Some of the stuff, like, yeah, it's just never coming out, and some of it did come out, and that's cool. All of the tabletop and board game stuff that I've backed has come out. Harold just cheered 69 bits, And it did come out. It's very tiny, but it did work. So I got to update that. Thank you very much for the bits. And also testing that my overlay is working. I have to go in and check it because it's very tiny and I need to be bigger, but it is working. Thank you very much, Harold, for the bits. Welcome to the Bit Sub leaderboard. Like I said, I backed some Kickstarter stuff that was successful. I backed some stuff that failed. I mostly have just I haven't been like a lurker per se, but I keep track of stuff. I keep an eye on some things that friends have worked on and acquaintances have worked on. How's the new PC? It's running well, Harold. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the stream. I'm not done figuring it out. There's still stuff I gotta download. There's still stuff I have to figure out how it works and why it works. Sorry, I also have to figure out how this all works. This setup works. But yeah, I still gotta figure some stuff out. But I'm getting there. I'm on the way. We're making do here. It's running beautiful. Yeah, I'm at 2.2 CPU usage for my stream. That's very nice. Considering that I'm running 3 monitors and okay, so this doesn't want to go in here. Why doesn't this one work? Yeah, considering I'm running 3 monitors and all the other nonsense that's going on here. That's pretty good. Okay. So, I'm doing it wrong. I was like, why isn't this working? Because I put it in upside down. That's a good answer, right? To why it wasn't working? Because I was doing it wrong. And then these things could splay out. Great. Okay. Did it. Figured it out. F3. Good. Let's see. Other things I want to talk about. Yeah, so Kickstarter, it's still a mess. It still sucks. But I don't know. If you got people who are like, hey, this is the biggest audience possible and the best way, and we can't cancel it just because they're boneheads. Support people that are doing cool shit that you want to support. But also realize that at some point it's going to be on the blockchain. And that sucks. Other things I want to talk to you about. Weird wrestle shit. Lastbrook knows what I'm talking about. We got some weird ass wrestle shit happening here. One of the executive vice presidents and founders of AEW has announced that Cody Runnels, who in WWE was Cody Rhodes and isn't Cody Rhodes because he doesn't own it. He doesn't own Cody Rhodes somehow. But his wife, Brandy Rhodes, Brandy owns that. So he was Cody and Brandy Rhodes. Anyway, Cody and Brandy are no longer with AEW, which is weird. It's a very weird thing that's happening. And then there's scuttlebutt that he's going to re-sign with WWE. And he'll be the biggest name. Now, have there been people who have worked at one company, who have worked at AEW that have then gone back to WWE? Yes. A terrible NXT wrestler that was a former football player, worked in NXT, was laid off at NXT, went over to AEW, and then came back and then was laid off again. Sabatelli, I believe that is the wrestler's last name. Whatever. He's technically the first, but Cody will be the first big one, and also as a EVP, that's a big deal. Low Crashin says, the wrestling business sounds like a fun place in regards to name rights. Well, so it's a weird thing where, for the most part, WWE wants to have your name. Any wrestling company, generally, in previous circumstances, would like to have your name so that you can't just make money in another company using that name. So, Bryan Danielson, that was his indie wrestling name. He goes to WWE, he goes Daniel Bryan. Now he's Bryan Danielson again. But CM Punk was wrestling as CM Punk when he came in. Generally, oftentimes, if you're a wrestler they don't think is going to last that long, or is just the deal you made, you keep the name that you were wrestling with. Drew Gulak, that is the name that Drew has used on the independents. And now he uses it on WWE. And then, at a certain point, they maybe repackage you. But for sometimes they don't. Keith Lee is still wrestling as Keith Lee. That is, You know, they worked on, they changed his name at one point to Bearcat Lee specifically so that they could trademark that. Because they went from Keith Bearcat Lee to Bearcat Lee because the WWE wants to make money and they don't want you to go off and do your own thing and not have it be through them. They don't want you to sell shirts that look like their shirts. It's a whole fucking thing. AEW is a bit different in that they don't mind that their wrestlers do independent dates as long as they make their dates. So you can use the name you used on the indie scene because it benefits them. At some point, it might not benefit them anymore. And we might, eventually start to see some of those wrestlers subtle name changes. I don't necessarily think that's exactly what's going to happen, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a terrible company. I have friends who work there. I'm happy for my friends that have a job doing what they love. I am happy that they get paid very well. I am thrilled for my friends that work for that company that can also keep their principles, that don't work in shows in Saudi Arabia, that work outside of it and continue to do it. But yeah, it's a shithole company. Wrestling has been... Wrestle Twitter is so interesting right now, and YouTube and all that, because this Cody story is the biggest story, and the other big story is Stone Cold Steve Austin might be wrestling at WrestleMania this year. He might come out of retirement for a match or a program. He's pretty recently put a gym in, or in his gym he put a ring in. And people have noticed that. He has not said anything about doing it, but it is the scuttlebutt right now. And that's a fucking huge story. That Stone Cold Steve Austin might wrestle at WrestleMania. That's wild as hell, but it also isn't as wild as Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Like, that's wilder to the general wrestling audience, and that's so bizarre. There have been so many different stories and angles about this Cody shit. It's been wild. 100% Lashbrook. I'm psyched because I got really sick of hearing Cody's promos, and now I won't have to because he won't be on TV for a while. And that's fucking awesome. And I'm so psyched about that because I was really fucking sick of Cody Rhodes talking. I hope they give something very cool for Arn Anderson to do. Also, it sucks that Cody left before Arn could turn on him because I can't believe that a Horseman never turned on a Rhodes. That's unbelievable. He's got to turn on Dustin just to keep the thing alive. Like, I hope he does. I hope part of whatever new thing they're going to do for Arn Anderson is that he turns on Dustin Rhodes, who also put a statement out saying, "I'm not leaving AEW. I like it here," which I think is hilarious. That he was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere." I was watching the Guide in the Ring GB stuff and hearing them talk about the state of wrestling before a legit competitor showed up in AEW. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when it was a bunch of indies and big indies, when your biggest competition is Impact, like, it's not really competition because they're like just a big indie. This has changed the landscape of wrestling. It has allowed way more people to make good money doing the thing they love doing. It has been a benefit in many ways. Now, it has made tribalism come back in wrestling, which I fucking hate. Now, tribalism was certainly there before this. WCW versus WWE or WWF, the ECW stands. When I went to a Ring of Honor show, they were chanting "Impact sucks." They weren't chanting about WWE. The Ring of Honor diehards were chanting about Impact because people they liked would go to Impact, and then they wouldn't get to see them. So it's always been there. It's like PWG fans hate, or they hated like Lucha Underground because it was another LA thing, and Lucha Underground was sometimes doing exclusive contracts. Like it's always there. It always sucks. I always hate it. But on occasion, competition can sometimes lead to growth, and that's nice. How Triple H seemed to be doing a great job running NXT and looking forward to taking over WWE, though that's changed a lot since then. Yeah, I mean, look, I think NXT is a different product and that's a shame. I think that I think Hunter will start a different thing that is not NXT branded, but he'll get his developmental again someday when he has his health is better because he's been under the weather and out of action. But I do think that eventually he'll get his project again, and it won't be NXT, but it'll be something. Because I think that model did work for a little while. But now, technically, if you want to look at it, AEW is NXT for the WWE. It is a place for people who are unseasoned to get TV time, to get practice out there. So now they can go after someone like a MJF or a Jade Cargill or, like anybody who's up and coming, like a Darby Allin. They get TV time, they're working, they're out there, they get national exposure, they come in either the same name or a different name, and they make a lot of money. Because that's going to happen because the early people are going to lose out on contracts. Their contracts are going to end. Like, we were starting to see some people working independent dates. Now, I can't tell you money, but I can tell you Peter Avalon didn't do any independent dates up until his contract changed. So take that what you will. He didn't have to before, now he has to. He was an early signee, so things have changed a bit. Yeah. But we will see people go around. We've started to see Jurassic Express is now, they're not calling it Jurassic Express anymore. Now, will we see members of that crew eventually move over? I mean, one of them did go through the FCW program. I don't necessarily think Luchasaurus is going to end up back there. But, Luke Perry's son, Jungle Boy, they'll change it up. They won't call him Jungle Boy there. But, they can get Luke Perry's son in there. Good-looking kid. Can wrestle. Hell yeah. And then we'll see if Mark's music career takes off. Because that seems to be what he's looking at. Which is good. Because that little guy's going to get fucking hurt someday. Real bad. The little guys that take big bumps don't last. So we'd like to see him, get healthy. Stay healthy, I should say. Not get healthy. Stay healthy. I don't know. It's a complicated thing. Kevin Owens gets to go to zoos and take care of his kids and make a shitload of money, and then he's going to retire and become a road agent. So, no, here's what Kevin Owens is going to do. He's going to make a shitload of money for a really long time. Like, oodles of money. Take care of his kids for a long time, go to zoos, work a lighter schedule when he wants to work a lighter schedule, do whatever he wants to do. He'll leave. He'll go to AEW for a hot minute for his glory money. He'll leave AEW. Then he'll go into a Legends / backstage role, work for WWE, be a lifer there, show up occasionally to powerbomb somebody, and stunner someone, keep the fans happy. Could he be doing cooler wrestling? Yeah. Could he be like a top guy? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that French-Canadian man is going, yeah, I'm good. They're going to keep paying me to do this. I'm going to do it. Going to make that big money. I saw that Miz was using his the old Ray Eddie feud over parental rights to Dominic to get some heat. Yeah. I mean, this feud is weird. If this feud isn't to get Dom to turn on Ray or have them break apart from one another, then I don't know what we're doing here. But I don't, Rey Mysterio versus The Miz is not appealing to me. Is this also a placeholder so that WrestleMania we can have more of Miz and Edge? I don't know. But yeah, I'm not... It doesn't move the needle for me. Dom really does need to... Dom needs more wrestling training. But whatever. But he's not going to get it. He's just going to keep going until he gets hurt, and then he'll get training while he's hurt, unfortunately. That's probably what's going to happen. That's my guess. It's still weird. Also, Dominic does the frog splash. It's not quite an Eddie Frog Splash, but he's been doing some Eddieisms, and I appreciate that, because why not? Why not? Let's see. We're going to take a pause with the cause in a moment or two, talk about ways you can support the channel, and then we'll get back into building. Quickly, I played Paparazzi last night. You know what I didn't do? I didn't upload, I didn't send out a link to the archive of my stream last night where we finished Paparazzi. We went to the moon. It was fun. I don't think I'm ever going to play that to like finish. I think I'm probably done forever with Paparazzi unless they have like DLC or like an expansion or something. I guess I would come back, but like, you know, and also it's a really fun game. It's a cute-ass game. I recommend it. I think it was neat. I think it's occasionally a little obtuse about what they want, and I think that's probably difficult for it to not be obtuse, but it still meant that there were some times where I was fucking frustrated with that game, and I don't like that when it's supposed to be a chill time to be frustrated, but overall, still fun. Would recommend. I think I'm getting pizza tomorrow, y'all. I did Arby's on Tuesday, but I in the mood for pizza because I was gonna get pizza over the weekend, but it was like Sunday was the Super Bowl and Monday was Valentine's Day, and then Tuesday I went to Arby's for lunch. So I was like, oh well, I think now is actually the right time for me to make my plans to go and get myself some goddamn pizza. So I think I'm going to do pizza tomorrow. And not Domino's. The last time I got pizza was Domino's. I'm going to get like an actual pie. It's going to be some kind of pizza pie, and it'll be good as hell. That's all I know. Right now, that's all I can say is I know it's going to be good as hell. I mean, I'll probably just get a pepperoni pie or a sausage pie. Maybe extra cheese. I don't know. But I'll just get a large pizza, and then I will have plenty of pizza because I got a toaster oven, convection toaster oven. So, reheats are not difficult, so I can just go about it when I want to go about it. Let's panel line this as we're in here, and then we'll take a pause. But yeah, that's the next big move on my part is gotta fucking get myself some goddamn pizza tomorrow. I had a bunch of stuff. Like often when I'm cooking, because I will defrost like a bunch of chicken and then try to eat it up over the course of a couple of days. Or like I made mashed potatoes and I made too many mashed potatoes. So I had mashed potatoes like 2 days ago when I had them today. Because it's just like, okay. Also, my parents like, stocked the fridge and for me and a few other, I have a bunch of stuff. So I have like a bunch of gravies. I used turkey gravy today on my chicken and my mashed potatoes instead of chicken gravy because I had turkey gravy and I don't expect to buy like a turkey at any point. So I was like, oh, I'll just use the turkey gravy. It'll be fine. Didn't feel bad or nothing. No problems. Getting that using turkey gravy, but don't tell anybody. But yeah, I'm doing good. I think I'm just gonna get a pizza though because I deserve it. I deserve a good pizza on a Friday. I'll be working on a project, working on a thing for money, a job thing. So tomorrow, so that way I won't have to worry about cooking. And I'm almost out of this big bag of spinach. I bought a big container of spinach, and I didn't realize that I was buying one that was bigger than I normally buy. So I've been trying to eat all of it. So I'm almost done with my spinach salad, baby spinach salad. So I'll have that tomorrow and pizza, and that'll be fucking fine. Oh, I did pancakes today because I have milk that isn't going bad, but it will go bad pretty soon, like within 2 weeks. So I did pancakes today, and I also made Kraft macaroni and cheese yesterday, and I'll make up another batch of Kraft macaroni and cheese and just use the milk I have while I can. That's the plan anyway. It's just like I got this milk and I don't want it to go bad, so I should use it in things. But yeah, pancakes are really good, but make the biggest goddamn mess between like the powder and then just like dripping everywhere because I don't have proper utensils for it, and then like my spatula and just like every like bunch of bowls, like just too much. It was very tasty, but it was a lot of goddamn effort. I should say this. I woke up at 8:30 and couldn't fall back to sleep because I was afraid that I was going I need exactly 2 pancakes maybe once a year. Yeah, I get them, and I like pancakes. No, I was legit worried that I was going to like miss the doorbell for my computer. That like for some reason it was going to come at like 10 a.m. when I was in the shower. So I woke up early and made breakfast, and I never make breakfast. I had some sausages too because I have some frozen sausages, so I just heated those up. But yeah, I was really afraid I was gonna because I said this. What I didn't want to have to do is take an Uber to to a depot, or hope that they would come back around. That somehow I could get in contact with the driver and be like, "No, I'm here." So I just got up early, way earlier than I normally do. Now 9:30 or 8:30, you're like, that's not early, Pat. For me, that's very fucking early because I wake up at 10 a.m. most days because I sleep late and then wake up at 10 a.m. I'm sure you were also excited to get it. Yeah, Rist fan, I was also excited about it. Obviously, it didn't come till 3 p.m., but whatever. Happy to have it. And happy to talk to you all. We're going to talk about ways you can support the channel. This is the Pause for the Cause. We're going to get back into model kit building and talk about some manga and some anime. But first, I want to talk about ways you can support what I do here. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the mode in the chat. Let the people know you're a subscriber. That's the easiest way to help me out here. And thank you very much to everyone who is a subscriber. All the things I'm going to be talking about here are optional. None of these things are things you have to do. Hey, Jam, welcome. But you can, and I would love it if you would. Being a subscriber, that's easy. Cash money or Prime Gaming token. You could gift a sub to somebody in the community. We're at 45 out of 50 subscribers. Love to get up to 50. It's okay if we don't, but if you gifted a sub, you could join Aristofan on the gift sub leaderboard. Harold dropped some bits, which we appreciate. Bits and coins. Cheers are always appreciated. And you can join that leaderboard. Also, it was a nice number from Harold, which is always great. But yeah, those are probably the easiest way because you're right here in the app and you can do it on mobile and support what I do here. I believe you can still gift on mobile. I don't know. They changed it. I don't watch Twitch on my phone, so I don't know enough about the mobile app. So I apologize. But yeah, subscribing through there is another way, as I said. We'll keep this brief, then we'll get back into building, but I do want to go through some various ways you can support what I do. I do have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. I'm going to put this in the chat there so you can see that. That's another way to support what I do if you don't want to do it here through Twitch. Appreciate checking out my Patreon. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier over there. So different ways to support what I do. Gotta go in here. Great. Okay, sorry. Just checking. Got a message that I will have to reply after the stream is done. I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear, and of course, subscribing there is free because it's YouTube. You can subscribe free, but you can also join there and join the memberships. $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos 1 day early. So if you want to see that, you jump the queue on those. You get them a day early. Least I can do. Thank you over there. And also direct donations through either Ko-fi or PayPal or Ko-fi. I do have to get my Ko-fi overlay done. I don't have that right now, so I got to check that out. That's one thing I didn't get to work. But you can still donate through it, through either PayPal or Ko-fi. And everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, through Patreon, and through Twitch all goes into a fund. I take money out of that, buy model kits. This kit I purchased thanks to your generous support. I appreciate that very much. And I have a backlog of stuff that I'll be building now. A way to jump past that backlog and decide what I build next is to buy something from my Amazon wish list. You go to my Amazon wish list, you pick something up, it jumps the queue. I build that next as least I can do. And also I shoot a video dedicated to the thing you bought there because that's also the least I can do. Let me just quickly, I gotta log in here. I forgot to log in Amazon, so I gotta do that. I've got pre-orders from stuff. Inexpensive Lego sets, expensive Lego sets, pre-orders from model kits. I just added the high grade RX 782. We've built plenty of those, but this one is the the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic emblem is on there. And that's just kind of cool. I think those colors are really neat. And that's a cool Gundam that I would be happy to build and kind of talk about a bit. And while I have many problems with the Olympics, I do not have any problems with the Paralympics. So that I put that on the list. Like I said, I've got inexpensive kits, expensive kits, kits with Amazon Prime shipping, kits without that. Tools at the bottom, various things that you could purchase, and I will be happy to build on stream and talk about. Hey, Fort Gunpla, welcome. I'm talking about ways people can support the channel here. Yes, the Intrigate Kirby is on there. We're going to get back to model kit building, working on the Helios in a moment. I'm just going through my ad breaks because I don't have sponsors. I got to tell people how to support. But we'll get back into it in just a moment. Also, hey, I know that not everyone wants to buy something from an Amazon wish list. But what you could do is you could go to USA Gundam Store, buy a gift card, and then send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, with that code from the gift card. And then I'll buy something for USA Gundam Store. And you can be like, hey, you should buy a Zaku. And I'll be like, look to see what Zakus I haven't built before. See if there's one, that you're excited about. So that is an alternative to that. You can join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff that they're working on. It is a nice little quiet community. Some days there are no posts. Some days there are many posts. A couple of videos you should check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club is my ongoing video series where I talk about anime stuff that I want to talk about on YouTube. This one was me talking about the Anime Awards. I went through the results, what I agreed with, what I disagreed with. We took a look at the dub awards for various countries and languages, and we like, hey, wow, cool. Russia's finally getting some JoJo. Neat. Like stuff like that. And then Do You Remembaer is an ongoing video series where I read a Wikipedia article and then try my damnedest to remember what I just read and regurgitate that information to you in hopefully a funny manner. And I talked about the book Tonguing the Zeitgeist, which is a speculative fiction book from the 90s that the thing I'm most mad about, and I'll tell you right now, I forgot the main character in that book's name is Ben Tendo. The main characters of Tonguing the Zeitgeist, his name is Ben Tendo. And I forgot that, and it makes me mad that I forgot to tell you in that video. Anyway, that's a pretty fun one. That book seems wild. I talked about what I remembered about that book. Enjoy. We're going to talk about manga I read and get back to model kit building here in just a moment. I don't have my dramatic transition set up here, so we'll go non-dramatic. I'm going to drink a little water first, and then we'll talk about a manga that I have been reading that I wanted to talk about on stream. All right. So, hi. Let's talk about this kit here. We're building this kit, we're working on the arms, and I'm talking about the Manga. Level 1 with S rank drop rate is the strongest. So, is this an isekai? Yes. Is this an isekai where the main character died and was reborn, but was like transported with his own body? So he died, but he also has the same body, so he's not like reincarnated, but he is in a fantasy world? Yes. Is it the trope of this main character worked for a black company and worked really hard, and now has to also work hard, but learn to not work like as hard because of cheats? Yes. All these things are true. This is all things about this one. Now, what makes this one different? As the title suggests, he's stuck at level 1. He can't level up. All of his stats are F rank and won't go up through killing monsters. But he does have S drops, S rank drops. Anytime he defeats a monster, he gets the best possible outcome for those drops, which is a cheat. But he's weak as hell, so he can't really fight strong monsters right away. Eventually, he figures out that So one thing I do like about this world is it's dungeon-based and it's drop-based. So, like, if you kill a monster, you get a drop, but there are different there's different dungeons have different drops. So it's just like if you go to this dungeon, no, I will not. I don't do content like custom gunpla contests. Not something that I particularly am interested in doing. I certainly do giveaways, but I don't generally do like build a thing in a certain way or photography contests or anything like that. So no, I don't have plans to do that. So the thing about this particular series, like I said, it is loot based, and it also it is focusing on like this dude like trying to like figure out how to survive, but also make friends along the way. And he does make some friends along the way. He meets a girl early on, a hardworking girl that he ends up living with. He meets a bunny girl that is very strong, but very focused on just eating carrots. There's a bunch of other characters coming along. A princess that he becomes. Oh yeah, it's a repainting contest. Yeah, no, that's not. That does seem cool, but that's not something I'm going to be doing. So I don't know if level 1 with S is great. I do like that he goes in and he's like, well, since I have like S rank drops, I'm going to go to this dungeon that this one floor, nobody gets any drops. It turns out he does, and he gets drops that increase his stats. So he does eventually get to increase his stats, even if his level. Obviously, also, of course, because it is a story, like an adventuring story, there's a lot of prejudices about your levels and what kind of drops you get and what kind of damage you do and all that. Like there's like a lot of problems with it. So like the girl that he ends up helping out, she doesn't get anything good from drops. So it's kind of tough for her, even if she is freakishly strong, it's a give and take. I think it's an interesting series. I'm not like, again, in love with it. But I do think that it is pretty fun. It moves pretty well. I think the art's solid, which is nice. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty good. And I would say if you like these kinds of stories, check it out. If this is going to be your first one, this should not be your first isekai, because there are far superior ones that at least have like a better story and move along. Because this one can't decide if it's an action series or if it's a slice of life. It's kind of both. And I think it suffers from not really focusing on one or the other. Now let's talk about some anime. I think I might be done with She Professed Herself, Pupil of the Wise Man, because it's not really doing anything that I like. Like it's a fine enough one of those. I'm happy that it doesn't really focus on the gender politics of it, unlike another show that I'm not watching that is so focused on that. It can't do anything but talk about gender. It's all up in gender stuff. So I've been happy to kind of just give this one like a look-see and kind of figure it out. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I'm done with it. Okay, wait. So I did this one before, and I'm like, why am I having issues with this? Because I did this exact same thing on the other arm. Sometimes I get distracted when I'm talking about anime and manga. There we go. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. I get it. We're good. So yeah, but in the Land of Leadale is really engaging with me. Last episode introduced like a bomb got dropped in that. So Land of Leadale is that the video game world is real now, and our main character woke up in that world, and she's like, I'm in the game world in my avatar. What the fuck's happening? And there were hints that maybe there other things were something weird was going on, right? Certainly. Now we definitely know, holy shit, there are other player characters. And apparently we found out that they have come in at different times. Like one of them has been there only a couple months. One of them has been there for 2 years. Our main character's only been there like a couple months, I think, at least, like just about a few months. So there's no real rhyme or reason. We might actually find out why this happened. A lot of these shows, the mangas and the anime never really get into why this happened. Sometimes it's like it's related to death, but oftentimes it's just like, yeah, what's going on here? Why did all these people show up here? We just never know, and you don't necessarily need to know. We don't need to answer those big questions, but it is nice to, if we can at least explore them. So the idea that there are more characters opens it up. There's also this fairy character that hasn't spoken and just sits or flies on her shoulder, but also like mimics her mannerisms, and I don't know what's going on with that. And she, for all her faults, our main girl did not take any time to be like, hey, like what's your deal? Like, she's pretty easygoing for someone that died as a teenager and now is reborn in a fantasy world. Like, she had her mental problems with it and her ups and downs, but for the most part, she's like pretty okay with it, which has been weird to watch. And then the Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt is just getting wackier. Like, I knew that it was going to be weird and fun and kind of funny, and like maybe not necessarily like haha funny, but like unusual funny. And it got outlandish in a way that I was unprepared for, but I am not opposed to. I am digging the weirdness of this particular show, where it is just like, this dude's real smart, but he does not want to be the king of a kingdom that is in trouble. So his goal is to make the kingdom better so that he can get taken over by someone else and he can get out of there and disappear. But also he's like trying to act like he's not awesome, but he also like has pride in his abilities. And also he has accumulated a lot of people around him that really respect him and want him to do well. And so sometimes it's accidental, like a demonstration of sword skills that he needs to either lose but then the person he's fighting against is so bad, he's like, I can't lose against this guy. I'll look shitty, too shitty. So he's like, oh, we'll just like even things out. And then the dude accidentally dies because he is so bad at sword fighting. And it's just like, so sometimes he's failing upwards and other times he is principled, like, I gotta go for this. I gotta do this. Like, I'm going to do the right thing. And it's been interesting. I think the cast of characters are strong. Some of their motivations are a little like, yeah, you love this dude. Okay, sure. But sometimes it feels a little like out of left field. But overall, I think it's been pretty strong and pretty solid. All right, we are top of this kit done here. We got our arms done. We're going to move on to the feet. Because this is a typical, like I said, this kit is some 2021 parts, but most of it is from 2013 and 2019. So, like, the 2019 parts are very modern in that, yeah, you work on the chest, the head, the arms, then the feet, then the legs, then the waist, then the weapons, your backpack, all of that. Not too many, head stickers, but no chest stickers, no arm stickers. We are going to have some corrective stickers for like, the legs. They're going to be, but whatever. Doesn't look like there's any stickers on the feet, so that's nice. So, yeah. So far, this one's, like, other than these weird little, like, parts here, this has been a very simple build. So, I've been happy with it. But we'll keep moving on here. So, yeah, that's the anime I've been watching. I'm pretty set. I'm still looking for some other stuff to watch. There's a couple things I haven't fully checked out yet. But I'm now, like, pretty set in what I gave up on. Although, like I said, Cheap Professor, Pupil the Wise Man, like, I might be done with it. I don't know. Also, for a while there, I haven't tried it. I haven't logged in. But on my other computer, I couldn't watch Crunchyroll stuff on Firefox. I could only watch it on Chrome. And I don't know why. I could log in. And I could find the videos, and when I clicked on the video, it would just be whatever. And I was like, is it Ghostery? No, it's not Ghostery. Is it my cache? No, I blasted my cache. It's not my cache. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I still don't know what it was. So, and here's the fun thing is when you have an issue with Crunchyroll, you just get like we're cash blasters here. Yeah, you just get lots of problems throughout many years that people have had with Crunchyroll. Like, because the beta version worked for me for a long time, and then it just stopped working, and I was like, I tried everything. I was like, oh, do you have acceleration on? Oh, well, don't have that. If you do it in an incognito window, it'll work. Okay, it won't. I still get issues with CR when I have infinite ads. Ooh, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, I have a premium account for Crunchyroll. It is a gifted account, should say that. But I do have a premium account for Crunchyroll, so I don't see ads. But then I'm like, maybe I should I want to watch the episodes that you would have to wait on, but maybe I should try to watching with ads and maybe I should log out, but I don't want to log out. I want to have my stuff updated. So I don't know. It's been wonky and weird. But that was on my other computer, so maybe I haven't tried it. So maybe it'll work here. I don't want to test it now, but that is a thing for me to test tonight, I guess. That wasn't a top priority for me. Was watching because I knew I was getting my new computer today, so I didn't go and. So I made sure to watch the anime I want to talk about, and then I watched Genius Prince's Guides. I think I ended up watching that today, but that's Funimation, so it's not a problem. That hasn't been an issue. But yeah, it's only been Crunchyroll, and that has been very weird. Also, there's a site that I use for reading some manga and mostly manhwa that every time I clear my cache, it doesn't remember my bookmarks for things I've read because it doesn't have a login system, which it really should. It's only one of the sites, but it is a site that has a few shows few stories that nobody else has. So I'm like, come on, God damn it, what the fuck? It's very frustrating because then I just have to go to new releases and look through everything and rebuild it, and I gotta do that on this computer. That's the price we pay, I guess. I think these feet are just all full blue, which is fine. No problems there. Easy enough. Now's the part of the stream, friends, where I ask you, hey, what you playing? What you watching? What you getting into? What's up? What's going on? Now's a great time to let me know. As I said, last night finished up Paparazzi. Definitely done with Paparazzi, unless they put out, an update, like a big content update. I think I'm done with that, but I liked it. Hey, Sin, welcome. Happy to have you here. Hearthstone, been really enjoying. Been playing some dumb bullshit decks that I really, really enjoying. The standard meta is still really wild because we got a mini set update on Tuesday, so everybody's just playing weird stuff. There's a deck in Wild that is completely broken and sucks, so I'm not playing Wild right now until we get some way to patch that because it's a no fun thing that you just basically have to beat them before turn 10 or a Warlock will just completely crush you, and I'm very much not into that. You beat Horizon Zero Dawn the other day, so you're ready for Forbidden West tonight. That's right, Lord Crashington. I forgot that because the embargo lifted. I had forgotten that the game didn't come out on Tuesday, so my very quote-unquote good Horizon 1 Dawn joke, I was like, so how were we liking Horizon 1 Dawn? And I was like, oh, that's not a good joke, but it should have gotten better. But nobody could tell me that because they weren't playing it other than, journos. I want the Horizons Lego set. Yes, one dong. Yeah, that Lego set looks pretty dope. I mean, that feels like a property that really does lend itself to Lego. John says Super Robot Wars heavily shows off Lelouch, watching Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion, playing Shin Megami Tensei 5, and building a Fast and the Furious Dom Charger. I saw photos of that, John. That's a pretty cool Lego set. Let's see. Yeah. Code Geass has mechs and is very cool and also is not cool at all. It fucking sucks. But also is really cool. But then also is a very bad comedy. What? Why is it trying to be funny? Because it can't? Why is this a college like buddy thing, and then also a very depressing thing, and then also magic powers, and also cool mechs, and I'm just like, what's going on with this thing? And then it's got a Whack Donald's in it. Games playing Kingsfield 4 and Armored Core 1. Okay, nice. Armored Core. Cyberpunk. Oh, yeah, we got the big Cyberpunk update that, like, maybe makes it what it should have been. I mean, I don't know. But, like, people seem pretty psyched about that. I bet that would run pretty okay on my machine, but I don't necessarily... I think I'm going to wait on I'm going to get Cyberpunk in, like, 3 years, probably. Leadership is all over the place, yeah. Do it now with the KF with the controls. Yeah. Kingsfield 4, nice. You're not the only one I know checking that out. But yeah, that's cool, Sin. Afro got the joke. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for getting my cool Horizon 1 Dawn joke. I know it's Forbidden West and not Horizon Zero Dawn 2, but it should be 1 Dawn. Because it was 0, and then I'm explaining the joke. You get it. Oh yeah, Patrick is to blame. Yep. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of that. I don't watch a lot of daytime streams. I often watch streams when I'm getting ready for this, and then after this, I watch streams. But usually during the day, I am watching YouTube videos and anime and other stuff, and listening to podcasts pretty often. I do watch Giant Bombcast on Tuesdays, and then I often watch the video version of the dump truck, the mailbag dump truck. But today I was busy working on this computer, so I didn't, and that's okay because I am low on podcasts, so I'll just listen to the podcast version. And it's rare that I feel like I missed out for that particular show. But I like watching the Bombcast as it happens because sometimes there's news that I can use. Like Bacalar and Friends, including Eyepatch Wolf, new show where they're talking about JoJo, which I think is a very fun thing. And I love the idea of Bacalar checking out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think that's very fun. Also, again, public service announcement. Please stop telling Jeff Bacalar to watch the hockey anime because he's not going to enjoy it. Because it's not a sports anime. It's a slice of life anime. And I just don't think he's going to enjoy. There's not enough hockey in it. He might like Haikyuu because that's really fucking about volleyball and then fun people and like good times, but like that Pure Orange is like fucking just, it's basically an idol show where they play hockey. It's yeah. A big moment in that show is them going to the beach to play volleyball in their hockey anime. So I don't know. I just don't think you would like that. Yeah. I did see that, Lord Crashington. Yeah. I did see the Uncharted movie. Lord Crashington, I'm going to see that movie on HBO Max probably someday. But yeah. Jeff's Bizarre Adventure, but only it's one Jeff. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this was spreading things out, and I think the name is really good. It should be both Jeffs and not just like whatever, but... I do see your point that it's Jeff, but it's just Jeff Bacalar and then other people, and it's not Jeff Gersman. I understand. They're going for the JoJo, but I get it. Pat, on that computer, you can probably just disconnect the RGB. Yes. Bacalar should just watch the big boob wrestling dumb anime, I Want to Be the Strongest, or whatever it's called. Sarcasm. Yeah, I mean... Like, there's a bunch of shit that Jeff should check out. The nice thing is that JoJo is in some ways the most anime because different seasons are so different that if he commits to keep watching JoJo, he'll get a very different vibe. Like, the vibes of the different seasons are pretty dramatic. It's a lot. So first of all, it's full of anime bullshit, right? But, like, you got everything from, like, a shitty talking dog, like... The talking dog sucks. To like, you get an incredible, wonderful, cool, badass, goofy main character who then, when he becomes an old man, becomes a fucking weird grandpa. It gets really badass and cool. It numerous times. We got incredibly strong vampires. We got just like cool, weird perceptions of reality of who you do. Stands. We got tarot bullshit in a good way. We got all kinds of cool, weird shit. And then it's like, you know what we need to do? A small town murder mystery. But also, this small town murder mystery is also somehow the most fucking JoJo possible. It just goes all over the place. And then, like, I haven't even read the one that's just like, that's just wacky races. Because they just do a season of wacky races. And I can't wait to read that. It's kind of wild that that after All Sets Goku, Dan just became a regular anime watcher. Yes. Well, that's the thing, right? I love it because Dan, like, people told him, and he didn't believe them, that his favorite video games are just anime bullshit. And that he would, and also part of the fact that Dan hates things is that Dan just decides that that's a fun thing to hate it. That part of his personality is like riling people up. It's the wrestling keel in him. So like he probably on his own would have eventually found something he liked. You got real riled up when you started talking about that. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing the thing that Dan does, which is get riled up about it. Because yes, he lives his gimmick. But also like he's also this thing where like he's doing a thing that also Bacalar is doing, where if you make it a podcast, then it's okay to do a thing. So like Dan had a podcast to watch anime, and then he's got a podcast where he watches streaming things with his wife. So why not watch some anime? There's plenty of anime to stream. Check out some anime. Oh shit, this anime is just like X-Men, but Japanese. I'll watch this anime. Like, sure. Like, it makes sense. Like, oh, this is just like cool guy shit. There's cool guy shit anime, and I told him like it was that thing. Like we had a conversation years ago. It's just like, look, when you actually want to watch some stuff, I will get you all of the cool guy anime that you could handle. Some of them are ladies that do the cool guy anime stuff, but like I know the cool guy anime shit you want to check out. Like just when you want to, let me know, because it's just like because it'll just like it and it'll be fine. It won't be a big deal. Yes. They do watch anime, yeah. That's the thing, right? Because it's like, a lot of it is the gimmick. Now, is it some of it inherited personality? Sure, some of it's inherited personality. And some of it is just like who he is and saying like, oh, I wouldn't like that stuff. But also, part of it is, this is the thing that I said about Dan. This is just me knowing Dan for years, right? When I didn't know him, my big belief was, Dan moving to San Francisco and working at Giant Bomb was going to open up him to experiences and people that he hadn't really interacted with in the past, and it was going to be very good for him. And I think it was, because Dan absorbs energy from people and absorbs like positivity and negativity, and also like is just like a guy that was over time became less set in his ways instead of becoming more set in his ways, which rules and is very cool because we do get set in our ways. And then hopefully the thing is the trick that a lot of people need, which is important. And I think we all actually need to do this, not just Dan, but everybody, is let's not wait to become an old person before we just do whatever the fuck we want and we don't care. Let's do that before we get to old age where it's like, what am I even doing? I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do and be the version of me that I want to be, and I don't care because I've earned it. You already earned that. Just be the version of you want to be now, and who cares? And it takes a long time to get to that point where you're just like comfortable in your own skin, and some people never fucking get there. But it's hard to be like, it's like, because the thing is like, right, like, well, some people I don't like love this thing. So can I like that thing if I don't like the people that like it? Yeah. You still don't. Here's the thing. I love anime. I still hate a lot of anime fans because a lot of everything fandom. I love wrestling and hate most wrestling fans because most wrestling fans are garbage people. And it's okay to just be like, sure, yeah, whatever, all right, that's fine. Why is it that most heads of gaming studios suck shit? Really wish they didn't. Really wish they didn't, but they do. Okay. We'll figure it out. Still not going to excuse shitty behavior, but I'm going to be okay liking the things I like. He doesn't hate sour cream. Yeah. It's just like, oh, shit. Turns out I like this. Okay. No one that cares what I do other than me. Yep. Wrestling Twitter is insufferable. Yes, Sin, we talked about that earlier. Wrestling, see, for me, I didn't say this, I tweeted this, but I'll say it here. It's great because I was tired of seeing Cody Rhodes in AEW, and now I won't see him anymore, and that's great. But it is also a fucking lot. And it's always, the thing with Wrestle Twitter is it's always a fucking lot for generally very bad reasons, for a lot of real shit reasons. And hopefully it'll get better, but who knows. But it is an important thing to just to go into it and be like, okay, you know what? I figured this out about me. This is a thing I like to do, and I don't care that people know it. And I'm going to do this thing now. I want to look out. I want you all to look out for yourselves. I want you to make choices that benefit you, that help you, that move things forward in your life, that aren't actively harming you. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to tell you to not like things that you like, not do things you want to do. But feeling like you're too cool for a thing or too over a thing is really great to get rid of, really great to remove from your life, and just being embracing just liking things, living without embarrassment about the things you enjoy and you like is great. I think that is healthy and rad, and I encourage it. Because we're only here for so long, and it sucks to live in misery. So just, embrace shit and start liking stuff and enjoy it. And then also, when you start liking things, it opens you up to the possibilities that maybe, just maybe, there are other people out there that like the things you like, and then you could talk to them about it. And that's incredible. That's the thing about the internet that, for all its faults, and it's got so many, a thing that fucking rules about the internet is that it did legitimately open up the possibility space of people meeting people outside of their small physical communities that like the shit they like. I had friends that liked wrestling, and it definitely kept me in wrestling longer because they liked video games I didn't like, but we still liked games. We had wrestling in common because they didn't watch anime. They didn't read the comic books I read. I played D&D with strangers because nobody I knew played D&D. I got into Magic the Gathering briefly, thankfully, because I didn't have the money to support it. But I got into Magic the Gathering because my D&D friends played Magic the Gathering, and I wanted to keep them as my friends because I needed to talk to people about, I needed to keep playing Dungeons & Dragons, and I didn't have anybody that liked it. I mean, if I could have gone on a webcam and played D&D when I got home from school with people from all over the world, I would have done that. And in fact, in high school, I did do something like that. I did play a AOL-based tape, kind of White Wolfish game with strangers because I wanted to get that D&D fix and couldn't get it because that D&D crew had kind of eventually run out of steam. Cool thing about the internet is we're all here, and it's nice. Yeah, I got into Magic Gathering and then got into Warhammer, and then decided I don't have money at 12 to support that. Yes, and the reason I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Was because I was getting out of Magic the Gathering, and I got into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games because the Game Boy Advance games, the World Championship games, were basically the game. and you could just play to unlock the cards. And then, of course, you could get a Game Shark if you just wanted to get all the cards, or an action replay to just get all the cards if you just want to have all the cards so that you could just play the game. But I did that because I was like, I can't afford it. And I was a little older when I was in Magic, when I was first getting into Magic, but mostly it was just to hang out with people that liked things I liked, because that was fucking important. I was on message boards, and I was in I was in message boards, and I was in is it the right piece? Yes, this is the right piece. Okay, we got to put a sticker on this thing. Let me get sticker 5. To hang out with people, and I was on bulletin board systems and met people I was these bulletin board systems. That's local. I mean, that was like local, like a couple towns over, and this was before I could drive, so it wasn't like I was seeing those people. And I had, I did have a friend crew growing up, but like they played a lot of fighting games, and I'm bad at fighting games, so like it sucked. We didn't. I wish we played more Mario Kart, but we played a lot of like Marvel vs. Capcom and X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which are fucking great games, but I'm bad at them, and I was never going to get better at them. So it was like, it would always be like, I would play against the other person who was bad, and then one of us would get a win in, and then lose to somebody who was good, and it would like run around, trading wins back and forth, and then it would be, I would get in a rotation again, and then lose immediately, and that was bad. And I was hanging out with my friends, and I was happy to do it, but like, I was never going to get good at fighting games. So it was like, this is just like never going to work out in a way that would like benefit me. But it was fun to hang out with my friends, so it was totally worth doing. But yeah, I wish we had played like more. Like, we played Mario Party, and that was the best because that was a game that I could win in on occasion. Like, through Mario Party bullshit, but sometimes the bullshit would swing in my favor, and I'd be like, later than most questions, get a bonus star. I came in second place. Hell yeah. But yeah, I don't know. BBSs were fun, but none of the ones I messed with were FidoNet and without it. Synced forums across boards. Okay. I played the Aki N64 games with friends a lot. Yeah, we didn't play. That's one thing we didn't play was wrestling video games. We never really did. I had I was at we had a bunch of our friends who were never into wrestling, but we were into games, and that was always surprising to me. I came to those games later. In college, I played a bunch of N64 games because a friend of mine had an N64 and a set number of games, and like there was a guy that had like the PlayStation or PlayStation 2 or whatever, but like that was right near us on our floor, but he sucked, so we didn't go over there. And so we read results to wrestling because our package, we couldn't watch any wrestling and couldn't buy the pay-per-views on our school's TV system. So we would read the results online and talk about it a lot and then play wrestling video games. We had like a minor E-Fed, so that was pretty fun. N64 had 4 controllers, so kind of won out. Hell yeah, 4 controllers. That does make the difference. Harold says, I thought I was going to make it through the stream tonight. I'm off tomorrow, but I'm sleepy. I'll catch you later. Well, Harold, enjoy your day off tomorrow. Thanks for being here. We are going to wrap up in a couple minutes, but yeah, as always, friends, it's lovely that you're here, but never feel like you have to be here. I'd love to have you here. I love people hanging out. But yeah, if you're tired, you go to bed. If there's another stream coming up, here's the thing you can do. And nobody does this, and I respect it and love it. Sometimes people are like, I got to go stream myself. That's great. Feel free to let me know so I can wish you good luck and hope that you have a great stream. That's always fair. Never tell any streamer that you're going to go watch another streamer. And as I said, nobody in chat does this. Nobody's done this to me. And even if it happens, I don't need to know about it. Because, like, look, maybe there's somebody who's streaming something you like. Maybe it's somebody that I'm going to go raid later. Maybe it's somebody that, like, is a priority. Sure. I just never need to fucking know that. I would love to never know that. I never want to know that you were, like, this was fun, but also what if I went and did something else? Because nobody wants to hear that. Nobody needs that. You can say goodbye. You can also peace out. It is nice when people are like, hey, have a great night. Or, thanks for the stream. Like, that's lovely. That's lovely to hear. But, like, don't feel like you obligated with your time, because you're giving me your time and I appreciate it. I sometimes just have 2 streams at once. Yeah, Lord Crescent, you can totally do that. I think that's totally fine. If you're like want to check in on somebody and see what they're up to, like, yeah, go for it. I don't know. Sometimes don't be a USDA certified grade A dinkus. Indeed, Afro. Like, when I go and raid at the end of these streams, I leave it on even when I get up to, like, I've been sitting down for 2 hours, so I'm going to stretch, I'm going to use the bathroom, I'm going to snack, I got to upload this video, like, the archive, like, I'll go through the motions, but I'll still hang out and have it on. I might not be active, but also when I first enter a raid, I'm active in the very beginning because generally the raider asks me a question. Not everyone does, and it's okay if they don't, but often they're like, oh, hey, what'd you do? And what's up with that? And what's going on? Some people are interested because they like model kit building. They don't do it as much, but they want to know about the kit. They want to know what I'm building, or often I play games they've never heard of because they're weird indie games. It was just like, oh yeah, when I was playing Dwarf from Antique for that week, it was very fun because Adam Savinin was like, ah, shit, is there a video game out that I don't know about? Fuck, why don't I? Oh no, am I old? Which is very funny because I am older than Adam. Not by much, but I am older than Adam. So it was very funny to be like, no, dude, it's fine. There are a lot of video games. You don't have to know about all of them. All right, we panel lined this. We're not done with it. We're almost done with it. We got to do a side part on there and then the ankle. But we got some progress on here. And yet nobody thinks it is Dwarf on Romantics. No. No. It was very funny. I did that for a full week, and I think it was 4 days in before someone made it a Dwarf on Golf reference in response. And I was just like, okay, it had to happen sooner or later. I was calling it Daily Dwarf, like it was asking for it. All right, so we got some progress done on this kit. We're not going to finish it on Saturday, but we're going to get pretty far. So I will put a poll out on Friday about what I should build next. I only have 2 more kits left to build in this line of the Breaker Battle Log kits, and then we'll be finally done with it. I have a ton of high grades to build. I have 0 Lego right now, but I have a bunch of high grades, including a premium high grade. So I don't know what we're going to build next. My $10 patrons will decide. But we are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here, is we go on a raid, because that's a nice thing to do. It's nice to go and share some love with some people, go hang out with somebody in the community. We end with a raid, indeed. We'll go see who's doing something. Yeah, I hope everyone has a good night. I hope you come along on this raid. If you don't want to come along on the raid, you don't have to, but I would like you to, because you're going to see some cool people do some cool shit. Let me see. Who's doing some stuff here? Who's streaming? Matt Wiggins is playing Minecraft. I guess we're going to go raid Matt Wiggins, who's playing Minecraft. Weird. Yeah, we raid Wiggins a bit. Wiggins has got a good community. It's very funny to me that he's playing Minecraft. That's strange. But yeah, we'll go give him a raid and see what he's up to. So feel free to come along on this raid. I hope you have a great night. I hope your Thursday continues to be fantastic. Have a great Friday. Come back on Saturday as we continue on this Helios. As I said, I don't think we're going to finish this up, but we'll get close to it. Thank you all very much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.